Hello, for this tutorial I'm going to show you how I make poppy granny squares. Remembrance Day is coming up, so I thought this would be the perfect tutorial for this time of year. For this tutorial I'll be using a 4mm crochet hook, scissors of course, worsted weight level 4 cotton yarn. I like to use cotton because I like to make bags, but I'm using Line Brand 24/7 cotton in the color denim, lemon, red, and black. And if you're interested in this yarn, it is linked in my description. The dimensions of this granny square is approximately 5.5 inches. And these will be the stitches that I'm using. So without further ado, let's get into it. To start off round 1, we're just going to make a magic circle. Chain 1 to lock that into place. This will not be your first single crochet. Work 8 single crochets into that circle. Once you get to the end of the round, you're just going to slip stitch into that first single crochet, skipping over the chain 1 from the beginning of the round, and you should have 8 single crochets all together. Fasten off, and that's round 1 complete. For round 2, you're just going to attach your next color into any of the single crochets around, and then you're going to chain 2, and then you will work a 2 double crochet cluster stitch into that same stitch. So yarn over, insert hook, pull up loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, so now you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert hook again, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops again, and now you have 3 loops on your hook, and then you're just going to yarn over, pull through all loops. This will count as your first 3 double crochet cluster stitch. Then chain 2. Into the next stitch you'll be working a 3 double crochet cluster stitch. So yarn over, insert hook into next stitch, pull up loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert hook again into that same stitch, pull up loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then one last time, yarn over, insert hook into that same stitch, pull up loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then you should have 4 loops on your hook, and then you will yarn over and pull through all 4 loops to finish that stitch. Chain 2, and then for the remaining stitches you will be doing that exact same thing, so you'll be doing a cluster of 3 double crochets, chain 2 around. After making your last cluster stitch, you'll just chain 2 as normal and slip stitch into the top of the first stitch. Then fasten off, and that is round 2 complete. You should have 8 cluster stitches around and 8 spaces around. Attach your next yarn into any of the chain 2 spaces around. Chain 2. and then work a 2 double crochet cluster into that same space, similarly to how you started your last round. And this will count as your first 3 double crochet cluster stitch. After that first cluster is made, you're going to chain 2 and then work a 3 double crochet cluster into that same space. Now you're going to chain 1, and then into the next chain 2 space you will work a 3 double crochet cluster, chain 2, another 3 double crochet cluster into that same space, chain 1, and then you will repeat that same process into each chain 2 space around until you get to the beginning. So to reiterate, into the remaining chain 2 spaces you will work a 3 double crochet cluster, chain 2, another 3 double crochet cluster into the same space, chain 1, and then repeat until the end of the round. Once your last stitch has been made, you're just going to chain 1 and then slip stitch to join your first cluster stitch. Do not fasten off because you'll be continuing this color into the next round. To start the next round, you're going to slip stitch into the first chain 2 space from the beginning of the previous round. And then you're going to chain 3, which will act as your first double crochet. Into that same space, work 5 triple crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 more, and 5. After that last triple crochet, you'll work another double crochet. So you should have 7 stitches within that first chain 2 space. So you're going to skip over the chain 1 space from the previous round and you're going to work into that next chain 2 space. So you'll only be working into the chain 2 spaces around. So into that next chain 2 space, you'll start with 1 double crochet and then work 5 triple crochets, and then finish off with 1 double crochet. So each chain 2 space will have 1 double crochet, 5 triple crochets, and 1 double crochet for a total of 7 stitches into each space. So continue that process into each chain 2 space around until you get to the beginning. Once your last set of stitches has been made, slip stitch to join into the top of the chain 3 of your first double crochet stitch. Do not fasten off quite yet. Join your next color by pulling that loop through your current loop and then fasten off your previous color. Chain 1, which will be your first single crochet of the round, and then work 6 more single crochets along the top until you get to that space in between the petal. Now at this point, you're going to work a long single crochet into the chain 1 space from round 3, and this will start to make your poppy more defined. Once you've completed that long single crochet stitch into the chain 1 space of round 3, you're going to continue to work 14 single crochets along the top. Working 7 single crochets will bring you to the next space in between the petals, but since poppies only have 4 petals, you're going to want to skip the next one. So that's why you're working 14 single crochets until your next long single crochet into the chain 1 space from round 3. So like I just said, you just finished your 14 single crochets, so you're going to do another long stitch into the chain 1 space from round 3, and you're just going to repeat this process. So you're going to work 14 single crochets and then long stitch into the chain 1 space. Once you complete your last long stitch, you will have 7 single crochet stitches remaining. So once you've completed those last 7 single crochets, you're just going to slip stitch into the chain 1 from the beginning of the round to complete this round. Fasten off, and that's round 5. To start round 6, you're going to join your next color into the stitch before the slip stitch of where you just fastened off. So where I'm pointing to right now with the tapestry needle. So pull up a loop of your background color and then chain 3, which will act as your first double crochet. Into the next stitch, you're going to work your first corner. So you're going to triple crochet, chain 2, and then triple crochet back into that same stitch to form your first corner. Then you're going to double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Into the next stitch, just work a half double crochet and then single crochet into the next 3 stitches. Now that should bring you to that little indent where the long single crochet stitch from the previous round is. So you're going to work a half double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Now you're going to do the same thing in reverse. So you're going to single crochet 3, half double crochet 1, and then double crochet 2, and then you're going to work your next corner, which should be in the center of your next petal. So triple crochet, chain 2, and triple crochet. So you're going to repeat that around. So double crochet 2, half double crochet, single crochet 3, half double crochet 2, single crochet 3, half double crochet 2, and then your corner, triple crochet, chain 2, triple crochet into the same stitch. Your last side of your square will basically be the same. The only difference is it will only have 1 double crochet to end with instead of 2, because the second double crochet was the first stitch that you made at the beginning of the round. Once that last double crochet stitch is made, you're just going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain of your first double crochet stitch from the beginning of the round. You're basically done at this point, but don't fasten off yet because I do another round. And I think it's worth noting that you could also change the orientation of the flower. So to do this, you would work your corners into the long single crochet stitch from the previous round instead of into the center stitch of the petals. Everything would be the same, you would just change where you start and where you add your corners. So for your last round, you're just going to start by chaining 3, which will be your first double crochet, and then double crochet into the next stitch, and then into the corner space you're going to work 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. And then work 16 double crochets across. Once you get to your next corner space, you'll work 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then again work 16 double crochet across, and just repeat this until the end of the round. Once you create your last stitch, just slip stitch into your first stitch to join and then fasten off, and that is your square complete. So that is how I make my poppy granny squares. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you use these squares for anything, please tag me on Instagram and TikTok at alyssia.creates. I would absolutely love to see the projects that you make with these. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope to see you in some future videos.